Oh, was a bloody, Ibada Kande, probably Santangure, Dinori Hakure, Dotani Angandita Kanure, Santangure, Dinori Hakure, Dotani Angandita Kanure, Masi Anguano Kumira Mubeko, Singava Shiroto, Singapudi Chico, Masi Anguano Kumira Mubeko, Singava Shiroto, Singapudi Chico. Zvinodarika asira rambo yacho ndoyaisa kundikanda kambozama kuneve ukama vamwe vangayamura asi zvakaramba ndangova ndega zinya rimwe ndega musango pasina anopanga mazano nderera inokuta mtunenge wafamai aiwa ndabuma mudzimu ndiringe ininoimba chamtengure ndinoringa kure ndoutani anganditakanure chamtengure ndinoringa kure ndoutani anganditakanure masi yangu anokumira mudeko zvingava zviroto zvisingabudise chipo masi yangu anokumira mudeko zvingava zviroto zvisingabudise chipo kurarama upenyu sina nombokuridzira zvarema zvanetsa pasino kumboturira misodzi yosuka matama chingoyerera namo dzenyika
zvisinei mhuri yezimbabwe, thank you so much for tuning in. Ndozvatinoita pano paZimnet radio. Handizozva kuti zviri kuitika nevoice rangu kuno kureketida
vari kumeko muri yamakasiya ona inongodzingaira naimwari wendeta sendakazvarirwa namo kugara ndichichema zvanzi ndini ndariko chamtengure ndinoringa kure ndoutani anganditakanure
komana zvakaoma ndamwira mvura apo. Thank you so much. Sekuru maswera sei?
Ewo muzukuru zviri kudodi?
Zviri kufamba nematambudziko atiri kungonzwa kuUnited Kingdom aya vanhu vakatsva mumba. They don't even know kuti how many people are actually dead at the moment.
Pakaitika basa pane nharo apo because vanhu vakatsvika muimba yakakurisa. Aiwa tinongokumikidza mweya yavo kwadzimu vavo pane ayo midzimu vasina midzimu ape navo.
I was looking around Sekuru trying to check if there is any fellow Zimbabwean that was in that block, but as of yet, unless someone tell me otherwise, I haven't heard of any fellow Zimbabwean that has been residing in that tower block at the minute. But you never know, because there's a lot of people that are unaccounted for. It might turn out that there was one of our brothers or sisters in there.
The problem with that block is it was so multiracial in its occupants. You can never rule that one out. But also, if there was a Zimbo staying there and they didn't have the papers, you know what I mean?
Yes.
It would be difficult to identify even if they were Zimbos.
Yes.
Because if they were living there illegally, surely it would be a monumental task for the official to identify who was who.
Absolutely, and they are alluding to the fact that this block, the occupants is so multicultural, and also the problem is some of them are asylum seekers, some of them haven't got papers yet, and all that. So it will be a monumental task to identify each and every one of them in there.
Yeah, it's really something else, that one. I think they can only do so much. I think they will have to rely on relatives if the person who died there and the relatives. Otherwise, to use forensics and things like that, because some of them must have been burnt to ashes, completely burnt.
Absolutely, yes. Right. Okay, Sekuru, thank you so much for that. Teteno Mazulu, how are you there in Germany?
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful day today. Yeah, very pleasant.
Lovely. That's what you did. Did you go to the beach?
Well, I'm a little bit far from the beach. I'm 40 km away from North Sea. So I wait until July when my son has got a birthday. Then we go to
Fabulous. Thank you so much. How old is your son?
He's 29.
Ah, okay. Ah, lovely. Thank you so much, Tete. Please hold on there. Sally, welcome to the show.
Good evening, DJ Sodza. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Yeah, I'm on my phone because suddenly my headset doesn't work. I don't know what's wrong. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, my Sekuru. Good evening, Namazulu. And I can't see who else is there. So good evening to the others that are there.
Okay, right.
And my sympathies to the people, to the victims from that tower block. Yoch, that is terrible. Oh, my Lord. That I sat and cried for hours because all I could think of was people caught inside. I mean, not just one person, families caught inside there that couldn't get out. I mean, it's absolutely heartbreaking. And then to hear how they've neglected the upkeep of it, and then they went and used plastic or something, highly inflammable stuff on it. I mean, it's so sad.
Yeah, it looks like criminal charges are coming up.
Yes, good. I'm glad. I think the mayor, old Sadiq Khan, I think he's going to pull some heavy boot kicks there. I just pray that there were no Zimbabweans. That was my greatest worry because you could see how completely multiracial that block is. And I mean, there's everybody from every walk of life. So I thought, they're going to be the Zimbabwean. But please, Lord, there isn't. So good evening, Zimbabweans, wherever you may be, and to the Cape Townians. To those guys that hijacked my son on Friday night, I hope the next time you go to pee-pee, your honono falls off and it gets flushed down the toilet. I am so angry.
Right. Okay, sorry, but is your son okay at the minute?
Yeah, he seems to be okay, but I mean, he lost everything. And you know the worst part? These guys that are doing this jacking, they're walking around in Prada and Nike and all these designer labels and everything, driving BMWs and Audis and Mercs and things. I mean, they're the ones that are getting richer and we, the people, are getting poorer. Thanks to them. Oh, I'm so angry. I really am.
Wow.
Anyway.
Everyone would be angry in those circumstances, Sari. Thank you so much for that, and we are sorry to hear what has happened to your son there. Vapepe, welcome to the show.
Thank you, DJ Sodza. Good evening, Mazulu. Good evening, Sally. Good evening, Seguru. Zimbabweans, wherever you are, good evening. Yeah, I would like to first of all express my condolences to the people who have perished in the inferno. It is quite a tragedy, and I think my thoughts are with the families. It could have been any one of us.
Absolutely. Wapepe, you had a very important trip last week, and unfortunately we couldn't locate you last Thursday. We wanted to just hear a little bit of updates of what was happening there in Brussels. Would you like to give us maybe just a few background of why you were there and what was discussed there and how relevant it is to us Zimbabweans?
Yes, indeed, DJ Sodza. There were about 3 engagements that I had. The first one was Africa Summit. The theme for Africa Summit was building resilient, inclusive, and sustainable growth. And this one was organized by the World Bank, the UN, GIZ, IFC, AFD, and EU. Now, there was also the African Union, apart from the European Union, the UN, the World Bank, and a lot of other lending agencies. Now, the discussion points were actually looking at the rural-urban migration in Africa, which it is estimated that by 2030, which coincide with the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, will be more than 50% of the population in Africa living in cities. But it was also to evaluate on the impact that such a migration is having in Africa, or will have. And the impact analysis was that whilst in other circumstances it has a positive effect, but the majority of the migration from rural to urban in Africa have actually brought in a chaos. It also brought in poverty, in the sense that these people coming from rural areas, they intend to compete for job opportunities in cities, which is non-existent. And eventually they've now added to sort of peripheral ghettos in big cities, unable to find employment. And most governments, of course, they don't support their nationals. And these people, some of them tend to be exploited or engaged in criminal activities. Now, that was observed. And then, of course, there were certain solutions to say, okay, fine, what is the way forward? And I think unanimously, it's a way good points or suggestion to the policymakers to say policymakers should ensure that development is done in rural areas. So you decentralize development. At the moment, the problem that we have in Africa is that development is only in cities and not in the rural areas. Yet the majority, over 65% in most countries, live in rural areas. So the solution lies in making sure that there is a catalyst of development in rural areas, and also noted that the activities mainly in rural areas is that of agriculture. Being it in agriculture, people who run away from rural areas are normally the educated young people who doesn't see or align agriculture with a profession. So the suggestion was therefore that we need to change the mindset. People need to understand that agriculture is a raw material. We should shift from agriculture as a raw material to adding value. So we have got agribusiness in rural areas. The moment we then set up agribusiness, in other words, industries that process the raw materials in rural areas, and those will then be able to absorb our young people from rural areas who are migrating to cities. And not only that, but we're also looking at empowering the women who are the majority of agricultural production in rural areas, empowering them to start up companies in rural areas that actually add value to the raw materials that they produce. So that is one other factor that we looked at in terms of within Africa Summit. And whilst there as well, it was, maybe you would be very much interested to note that the World Bank and the IFC made it very clear that there is no scarcity of funds or finance in the world. There's enough money for everybody. So there's no need for people to be poor. And that they've got enough money to lend to governments that want to improve in terms of infrastructure and development. And of course, it goes with meeting the requirements for lending. So our poverty in Zimbabwe is a result of our own government, of our own policymakers unable to meet the criteria for borrowing to improve the livelihood of the people. So that's another issue that we looked at. What's there as well, I also was invited and participated to African Union, European Union Business Forum. And that was in preparation to setting the agenda items for Africa Summit, which will be on the 28th and the 29th of November in Africa. That will be in Abidjan, the Côte d'Ivoire, where we also looked at, in terms of remittance, looking at, we have got so many Africans outside Africa who are sending in remittance to Africa. Actually, the total amount is estimated to be around 60 billion US dollars annually, if we add to all 54 African countries. And but it is also important that people who are sending money to Africa, to that tune of 50 billion, be organized, because that is quite a huge amount, and that actually adds to the GDP of Africa to such an extent that if it is properly channeled in its own entirety, it can develop Africa. And that figure actually surpasses the assistance, what we call the ODA, that is coming from Western donors to Africa, which stands at less than 50 billion. So we are sending more money than the Western world is actually supporting Africa in terms of eradicating poverty. Now, what's there? There were staggering figures. I will quickly share that with our listeners. Zimbabwe see remittance going to Zimbabwe annually stand at around 2 billion annually, which is 14.2% of Zimbabwe's GDP. That's a very huge percentage of GDP. And it is surprising that the people, the Zimbabweans outside the country, are not united enough to have a voice. Because this 14.2 of GDP coming only from people who are displaced from Zimbabwe is enough to unsettle any government, if we so wish, and if we are united. We can actually direct the policy direction of Zimbabwe. And I think we are not speaking with one voice in that regard. Zimbabwe is only third from Haiti, Samoa, and Jamaica in terms of ratio of GDP to remittance. Is it a good thing? It is a shame that a country of the magnitude in terms of resources of Zimbabwe can be equated to small islands. What that means is that there's no production in Zimbabwe other than the remittance that we send. And then there was also in terms of total remittance to globally stands at about 400, or developing world, sorry, not global, 429 billion US dollars is remitted to countries, developing countries, by people outside. So yes, we looked at that, and to say how can policymakers sort of harness this remittance to channel it to development, rather than always moving around with the begging bowl. Whilst there as well, there was one specific to Zimbabwe. There's a strategic policy document that I bumped into it, sort of by mistake, or was it by design and intent? But it is about cotton production in Zimbabwe, and it's called cotton to clothing strategy, C to C. Now, what that means is this strategy starts from 2015 to 2019. Zimbabwe, at the moment, as I speak, is being funded by the European Union, underwritten by COMESA, supported by ITC, and also African Development Bank, in capacity building for Zimbabwe to convert cotton into clothing. The reason being that at the moment, 75% of cotton, of Zimbabwean cotton production, is exported as lint rather than as clothing. Therefore, we are not adding value. And the biggest importer to that lint is actually South Africa. South Africa will then add value to that lint and then export clothing back to Zimbabwe. So there is that capacity building, and money is being poured in. I have no information whether that money is destined to the intended beneficiaries in terms of empowering the production and farming of cotton in Zimbabwe. But whilst there were some surprises in the sense that I've got a few beneficiaries that I picked up. You'll be surprised that some of the beneficiaries are a bit dodgy. One of it is actually China, Africa. So the money is being given to companies like China, Africa, which is owned by the Chinese, and Cargill, in the name of Zimbabwe, mind you. And this is money that we are borrowing. Zimbabwe will have to pay that money anywhere. But it's given to China, Africa, COTCO, Cargill, Alliance, COTZIM, ETG, Sino. Mind you, Sino is a Chinese company. Sino Zimbabwe, that's Chinese. Then there's Sinotex, that's Chinese again. And then we've got Olam. I have no idea what that means, but it's supposed to be a generic company in Zimbabwe. Insing, Graphax, and Fahad. So these are some of the generaries, and with respect to with respect to cities as well. Alliances is Norton, Cargill, Chegutu, China, Africa is in Gweru. I have no idea those who live in Gweru might know China, Africa. Kotiko, Chirezi, Gokwe, Kadoma, and this Sino, Zimbabwe is Kadoma, etc., etc. So yes, so those are some of areas of discussions that we tackled, among others. The other one was also in terms of election observation, the elections coming in 2018, specific for Zimbabwe. Although the discussions were generic, I put across that of Zimbabwe. And I think the situation was that the European Union await invitation from the government of Zimbabwe, because that's the protocol worldwide. But again, although I put it across to say the problem with the international community and the European Union in particular and the United Nations is that by waiting to be invited by the governments themselves and not to be invited by the people within that country, those governments that invite them are the governments that have nothing to hide anyway. Those that does not invite them, like Robert Mugabe, are the very people who are dictators, who are tyrants, who have got something to hide. And therefore, that approach and methodology does not hold water for people crying for real change. So there are quite a lot of other issues that we discussed, but these are the main ones. And the whole intention, again, was to say, which I've always said, that Zimbabweans, we must not allow ourselves to be discussed, but we must be part of the discussion. And this leg actually in pursuit of that.
Thank you so much. Very interesting listening to all what you're saying, Wafefe. I'm sure they are listening. And also, for some of you guys there who want to relive this show, you can also do that. We've got a podcast on our website. They just go to our website, www.zimnetradio.com, and just look for Men's Corner Show there, and all the podcasts will be there. And also on Facebook, just search for DJ Sodza on Facebook, on YouTube. Just search for DJ Sodza on YouTube, and all these shows there as well will be there, the past shows that we've done. Now it's 29 minutes before 11 here in the United Kingdom. What I want to do is just a quick break, 2 minutes. Then after that, I've got something that I want us to talk about. It might not necessarily be politics, this, but it's something that I want to hear from the panel what they think about, and then maybe we can talk more about in-depth in politics as well after that. But we'll be back after this 2-minute break. Thank you. Don't go nowhere. We are here for the next hour and a half.
Gentlemen, welcome. You are listening to DJ Sodza live on Zimnet Radio.
Imureza wedu weZimbabwe kuvira kuvata mbezi kusvika papo navakungamiri. National flag, our national flag, red for blood, white for peace, green for vegetation, yellow for minerals, black for majority.
This is a Thursday, and you know what that means. It's a Men's Corner Show with yours truly, DJ Sodza.
Make the whole world know about your business. Advertise with Zimnet Radio. Email marketing@zimnetradio.com.
Sikhuluma ngodaba lokusukuma sisukume sihambe siregister ukuvota, brought to you in case of National Electoral Reform Agenda inera sititina together stronger together together sisonke silamandla sisonke siritese tinesimba tiritese asisukumeni sihambe siyevota asisukumeni sonke siyeregister go register to vote sisonke silamandla sisonke
kulentaba lana kulentaba lana kulentaba lana kulentaba lana kulentaba
stronger together. Let's all stand up and go and register. I encourage especially the youth, take your part as long as you are 18 and above and you have got an ID or a valid passport. You are liable to go and register to vote. Vote. Ivoti yako, secret yako, ivoti yako, choice yako. Akula muntu oza kubulala.
Yes, vote yako, your vote, it's your secret, and you have to exercise your vote. If you are over 18, or you need, it's your ID or a passport, a valid passport, you go and register and you cast your vote. Next year, the general elections there in Zimbabwe, I'm told the campaign is in full flow. If you remember, Vatsangirai was in Gweru at the weekend, and I saw the videos coming through. I had people there. Goodness me, I cannot believe how Changirai is a good dancer. I thought I was a dancer, but I think I'm not that good. He was dancing away on the podium there, and a lot of people were dancing as if there is no problems there in Zimbabwe. The joy, the sheer joy, you could see it. But anyhow, I'm told tomorrow as well, the president himself will be in Sakuba Stadium there, where he will be meeting the youth, I'm told. He's trying to galvanize youth of Zimbabwe to vote for them. I don't know what they will be promising the youth now, because I don't know where the 2 million jobs, whether people are in jobs or not. Someone might want to tell me that after the 2013 pledge. But anyway, and also the message is coming through that Changirai will be in Ulawayo on Saturday, this coming Saturday as well. So the campaigning is in full flow. But I want us to go back a little bit. I know Apebe mentioned that $2 billion are sent to Zimbabwe by people in the diaspora every year. Now, something came up. I don't know, some of you might have seen, but some of you might not have seen it. This man called Lamek, I don't know where this name comes from, but Ananzi Lamek. And what he did was, I think it was a couple of months ago, he came out at a funeral, and everyone was saying, oh, this dead person was a good person, and whatnot, and whatnot, and whatnot. Everyone was saying good things about the person that they were burying. But he stand up and say, actually, I want to differ with a lot of people here. This person was nasty because of A, B, C, and D, which was quite, some people said it was a breath of fresh air for people in our custom to come out and say if someone was not good for the society and is dead, they should be told, listen, you were bad and we don't wish you alive. You're a bad person, you are dead, and this is a better place because you are Hausisiri Pana. I actually thought, well, fair enough to him if he had evidence that this person who was dead that day was no good at all. But there comes something. Kwanziko, he went into this place and said, oh, pane vanhu vari kudiaspora vasikabatsiri, they don't help vanhu vari kuZimbabwe vanenge vari mumatambudziko. Kwanzi people in the diaspora are not helping people back home, right? Oh, you are in London, you are in Dallas, you are in what, and you don't send a penny here to feed mwana chirema kunoko and all that, mwana wa hanzvadzi yako, mwana wa tete wako, mwana wa cousin yako, mwana wa ani wako. You know, and he went on and on and on and on and on and on about it. The question to you I want to ask is, vanhu vari kudiaspora, are they supposed to send money back home to all their relatives there without fail? If they fail to do that, they are devils. This is a question I need to ask. What do you guys think? If you fail to send money back home for anyone there who needs help, angawari, your cousin, your sister, your brother, or whatever, if you fail to send money there, you are deemed a failure in the society. Because you are in the diaspora, you should have money. Is that what it is, Teteno Mazulu?
Certainly not. Certainly not. We have got our own obligations kuno ku diaspora, you know. And you know, kunema deaths akawanda kumusha, admittedly, you know. But there are times when, you know, unenge wakabatika, you know. Sometimes you really do not have that money, you know. And if you say you sent just 50 euros kumusha, they will be disgusted, you know, and say, she's only sending 50 euros. She's a teacher. You know, they would think you could quit a teacher, you know, with German, wait a mari, but I've got my own obligations. Kuno we are manning my accounts every day, yeah? And you haven't paid this, you haven't paid that, you have to pay, yeah? Une mortgage to pay, yeah? People like ourselves, Tirimvanaka, we have got children, yeah, we are lone parents. So it's not easy really to, you know, cough out that 500 they would want us to cough out if there is somebody who passed away, you know, or if there was a child who needed assistance. You know, you think about your own concerns, my accounts, kumba, you know, before you can ever think about, you know, musukuru wako, you know, arikumusha. You know, life here is so difficult, you know, and the people at home, they don't know that we are struggling in as much as they are struggling more.
So, Tete Nomazulu, what will be your message to people listening now in Zimbabwe who thinks, oh, actually, Nomazulu is in Germany, she should be sending me money, I need money to send my child to a boarding school because apasa anema chete. Then mwana baba mnini comes in and say, oh, I need money, I need this and that, I need this and that. The moment you say no, you are a devil. Should they regard you as a devil if you say you haven't got that money because you are in diaspora?
We should know, you know, those extended family obligations, they broke down a long time ago, you know. They are no longer existent. You know? Life was perhaps different the time we grew up, where those family extended networks worked very well, you know. So if you have been struggling on your own, you know, you have got an obligation, you know, this child has to have good education, yeah. Because we have to send Mari Kumusha, you know. We still need to have some decency in our lives, you know. So those family structures, those extended family structures, they shouldn't look too much on diaspora, yeah. Because diaspora, you know, we were in England, you know. I thought leaving Germany and going to England, perhaps in England it was better. It was worse. We had to come back, you know. And when we were in England there, I thought, well, I've got many relatives, you know. They will assist, you know. I was shocked to find that those extended family structures I thought they were going to assist, they were not there. I never saw them, you know. As long as they know that you are struggling, you know, they will never come. So my message would be, really, they should know that we are constrained. Akawanda in as much as akawanda ikoko kumusha, you know.
So you find out when you came to the UK that indoda yazibonela lapha.
Oh yes, indoda yazibonela in the sense of the word, yeah. And I don't hold any grudges. Kuti andinakwanda rubatsiro to those very relatives that were in England, that had circles. I don't hold any grudges because they say, look, uzazibonela lo mntanakhe.
Absolutely. Right. Okay. What we want to do now, I want to go kunasekuru. I want to hear everyone's thoughts on this because it touched my heart when that man was ranting and raving and saying that people are living large in the diaspora there and all that. This is a person that has never lived in diaspora saying that. But Sekuru, maybe you've got a different version of all these issues. Do you think really we are obliged to help each and every one of our extended family back home, regardless of our situation here? The moment you step your leg in diaspora, you are regarded as someone who is loaded. Is that the sense you share, Sekuru?
Not at all. Actually, I don't know where that sense of entitlement comes from. As a general rule, and following our customs, the obligation to look after yourself is squarely on your shoulders. But we then communally chip in to help those of us or those among us who fall on difficult times. It's not on everyday life assistance. It's on difficult times. Say, for instance, when there is a funeral, we come together immediately and take over. When there is a celebration, we come together and communally take over. But it's not like there is an obligation, a customary obligation for anyone to assist any other than their own parents and their own siblings. So I don't share in that version. However, given the scenario that is obtaining in our country, you may feel very sorry for a lot of the people out there. Not because they are any better off, but because they are in a worse position than you are in, even in your poverty. So at the end of the day, you end up
I can't hear that, Sego.
Anyway,
I think it was more
in my own view, the entitlement is neither here nor there. It's not there at all. It's not supposed to be claimed or as a right. It's assistance that can be given if you feel like giving it. You can be as loaded as you like and not give it any cent. And nobody should raise an eye over that.
Okay. Aywa, Sekuru, thank you very much for that. Mukoma Wilbert Maswera say.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Mbia. Noma Zulu. It's nice to have you back.
Hello.
My opinion on this one is actually, I think I was listening to Pepe they're saying that Zimbabweans, we are sending $2 billion per annum. I think whoever, maybe the one odd ball like me may not be looking after my close relatives, but I think as a nation we have done very well. I think $2 billion in a situation where some of these people in this country, I know a lot of Zimbabweans, they are not earning a fortune, and they are still able to send some money back home. I think that is something to be proud of. And I honestly think somebody who really believes that people in the diaspora are not helping people in Zimbabwe, they are not being honest. People in Zimbabwe are really lucky that we have got such a generous nation. Some of it may not be coming to you as an individual directly, but what you've got to realize is that the $2 billion is actually helping many people directly and indirectly. In the sense that if I'm sending money to have my house built, it means somebody will get employed to build that house. Somebody will get employed to put furniture in it, and so forth. And that generates work for those people as well. And I honestly think with those people who are complaining and thinking with people in Zimbabwe, in the diaspora, Zimbabweans in the diaspora are not helping, I don't think they're really being honest. And I think people should learn to be grateful. Zimbabweans, I think, as a nation, I think personally, we have got something, that is something to be proud of.
Aiwa, thank you so much, Mkoma Wilbert, for that. Sally?
Yes, DJ Sodza.
Yes, Sally, I know your daughter is in Dublin there.
Ireland.
In Ireland. If she come around and say, Mommy, I can't send you the $50 I normally send every month because I've got bills to pay at the moment, I'm trying to pay off my credit card, suddenly she becomes a devil?
Of course not. I don't even ask her for money anyway. Okay. I mean, she's got her family to take care of. She's doing it as a single mum. Okay. So I would never even dream of asking her to send money. I've never done that. Okay. So, I just wouldn't dream of doing it. At one time, I did send money to my sister in Zimbabwe. I mean, she was really, really battling. It's when I came to South Africa in the beginning, okay? But as soon as she got to a stage where she had leveled out, she let me know. And she said to me, look, don't worry about money anymore. I'm okay. So then what I would do is, for about 18 months, every month I would send her a food parcel, okay, with dried goods and little things, okay, the little luxuries, okay, just to brighten her day a bit, okay. And eventually, even that, she said, no, stop it now. We're okay. All right. So, I mean, that I appreciated so much. And then I see something like that Lamech. I'd like to take him, okay, and put him in England and say, right, now, let me see you support all your extended family. Go on. Go and find a job. Go and get legalized and all that. And then you support all your extended family. You got a big mouth. Now let's put some action there. Okay? You know, the problem is we as diasporians have spoilt. We have generated this entitlement attitude. Okay? Because we feel guilty that we are out the country and our relatives are back home suffering. Okay? The problem is, a lot of the time, it's not money that's going to solve their problems. You know, I can remember even when I was still living in Zimbabwe, there was always that family member, that extended family member. It didn't matter if you gave them $1 million. Okay? At the end of that week, they would come running, we got no money, we got no food, they're going to kick us out in the street. They are just people that are like that. It doesn't matter what you do for them, it's never enough. Okay? So, you know, like Sekuru said, your mum and dad and your immediate siblings, okay? I mean, for me, the most important thing is my mum and dad, if they were still alive, okay? They weren't alive, so it automatically went to my sister, okay? And I don't know, we are so wrong, because instead of us sending for, like, when there is dire need, okay, people just send because they feel guilty. So what happens is people build their lives around that remittance. Instead of trying to use that remittance to maybe make themselves a little bit independent and try and do something for themselves, no, that remittance is the beginning and the end of everything.
Yeah. So you're saying they start to rely on that. It's like, they are earning money now. Every month you send it. So basically they are getting their paycheck.
Exactly. You see, Mugabe has made us a country of beggars. Okay. We haven't, a Zimbabwean has got a way to find, to surmount problems. Okay. And you know something, I've seen it in the diasporians, but you don't see it that much in the actual povo that are back home, okay? It seems almost as if they're daily just trying to put a piece of bread on the table each day has killed everything else. And now they've just become beggars. And it's terrible. It breaks my heart. Because I can remember being there. It didn't matter what happened. Okay, you couldn't buy matches. Okay, not a problem. Okay, you found a way of getting matches. The cooking oil was in short supply. No problem. You just found a way of getting cooking oil. It didn't matter whether it was from the army base down the road, okay, or whether it was from somebody going to South Africa and bringing back cooking oil, or whatever. You found a way of getting cooking oil. Okay, the same with the rice. It didn't matter what was thrown in front of us. We always surmounted the problem. Okay? And that seems to have been lost. We now sit and wait for remittance. Okay? And this inability to be independent. It's kind of sad. Mm-hmm. It really is, because a whole nation's ability to go forward has suddenly been stunted and stopped, and we sort of stuck like a hamster. You know, like those little rats on that wheel that just go round and round and round. That seems to happen.
Okay, thank you so much, Sally, for that. We've got a lot of people waiting to contribute as well. I would like to go Kunala Pepe there. Pepe, I know that someone is writing to me that you might be taking what Lamek say out of context here. But I think, as diasporans, are we supposed to help in any way, shape or form to our extended families in Zimbabwe? We have to help them. Failure to do that, we are no good.
No, I disagree with that. I think people need to understand that these remittance that we are talking about are interpersonal remittance to specific people for specific requests. Now, maybe let me also give you a bit of some statistics, in the sense that average transaction of any remittance is about $200. And also, we need to understand that normally the usage for the remittance tend to be on health, tend to be on education, to such extent, sometimes food. Now, the increase of remittance to any country or any destination normally is a reflection of high level of poverty. This is why you find if the economy of Zimbabwe was functioning as it should be, then the remittance goes down, because people will have an employment and will be self-sufficient. Otherwise, the remittance you'll be sending to Zimbabwe is for capital investment, whether building houses or whatever. It's sort of empowering yourself or improving your life rather than improving people on the ground. I think people need to understand that. But, however, it was also mentioned at the summit where I was that there are two types of destination for remittance. In other countries, it's actually fueling inequality. What I mean by that is that, yes, in other countries, it's only the poor who leave the country to go outside. And if the poor leaves the country and then they send money, that's fine. They are trying to close the gap between their level of poverty and the middle income in that country, and also those who have money. Now, in a Zimbabwean scenario, we are talking about the people who left Zimbabwe are those who could afford to buy tickets, and that was the middle income, and sometimes people with money. Now, what that means is the people who left for Zimbabwe, in Zimbabwe specific, is that the money you are sending to a class of people who already have got something. Does it make sense? Because the poor couldn't afford the ticket to come.
Yeah,
so their children are not outside.
It makes sense. It makes sense, yes.
Yes. So you find that from a Lamech point of view, he sees that, yes, there are some people who are receiving money and their lives are improving. And then there are some people, might be extended family, who are unable to send their children to school, they are unable to go to clinic or their health, etc. And he wants a level ground, which will never happen. Because it is an interpersonal on involution remittance. And you cannot support or send a remittance for the whole village. This is why I hasten to say the average transaction of remittance is $200 US. And that cannot support the whole village. And from an African perspective, with a lot of siblings, Vazukuru, Vanachichi, that is not possible. Yes, from time to time, people to assist, but that is on involution. It is not mandatory, and people need to understand that. That's good.
Thank you so much, Pepe, for that. Tetoma shoko ndiri kuona ipa ndoda kutanga na Vamoyo ndo vatitange kufona before you did. Vamoyo maswera sei mamuka sei.
Aiwa tamuka kana maswera we mimi koko.
Aiwa isitamboswera zvedu isuwe enjoying the good weather now.
Oh.
Vamoyo nyaya tikutaura nezvayo mainzwawe kuti it looks as if vanhu kuZimbabwe uko. I think every one of you knows what I'm talking about here. That people back home think that the moment you land your leg in diaspora, you've got lots of money, and if there is anything that is needed doing there, Chinodamari, you have to pay for it. And if you don't pay for it, you're a devil. What do you think about that?
There are too many ways of looking into this issue here. But I want to start by putting Lamech's case into its correct context, not the way we are looking at it or the way we are trying to address it. Lamech, if I got his message well, Lamech is not talking about the whole village, which please, we are muti wakiri midada muti tengere mabazi mu village. The case here, Lamech, is a case where Lamech had a daughter. This daughter was impregnated. Ndoku zara mwana, and the child is disabled. So muzukuru wa Lamech is disabled. So as disabled, he becomes the child becomes a special case with the special needs. And once munhu ave a special case with the special needs, anenge akudawo special attention. Saka Lamech sasekuru, he is saying kuhama dzemuzukuru wake, ndibatsireiwo kuchengeta mwana uyu. ndo nyaya yake ainayo. Haanamboti ndibatsirei inini kana kutibatsirai village yese kana kutibatsirai everybody. He is talking of a particular child who is disabled, and in his context I think he is within his rights. And when he was talking, he didn't say vari kudiaspora chete aiwa. He even spoke of my relatives emwana uyu variko kuZimbabwe. Akati achiti ahuna ava vakagara zvakadai ava vakagara zvakadai. He then said kunotori nevamwe vari kudiaspora, meaning it was an extension of his begging bowl kuti kodai matibatsirawo kuchengeta mwana uyu. Ndo nyaya yake iyo. He never said ndipei zvekudya inini kana kuti ndibatsirei inini kana ndibatsirai mhuri yangu. Aiwa. Lamek is talking about a particular child who is disabled, muzukuru wake. Even papa rufu rwambuya wemwana uyu. This is the same message he was talking about. Okay, let's go now to the main issue which you are talking about here, vanhu vari kudiaspora and nevanhu vari kuZimbabwe. Isusu vanhu vari kudiaspora ka ndisu zvakare takacreata this mentality of dependence. Nemhaka yekuti whatever moves or whatever projects that could be done in Zimbabwe or whatever can be done in Zimbabwe for those people to help themselves, we have actually told them, no, don't do it. Nemhaka yekuti there is supposed to be somebody who comes from somewhere who will come and then help you. When Feve says no, the economy is supposed to be running well, there's supposed to be jobs and people are supposed to be employed. What we are saying is, you guys, your role is to sit and wait. And somebody is coming to open this factory, to open this business. And then your role is supposed to be inga mangamchara muchipedza vandisingambo intervene saka regai vandipedzeza. So the issue ndeyekuti we have created that dependence mentality yekuti vanhu vari kuZimbabwe imimi hamufaniri kunge muchizviitira anything. Somebody is supposed to come and help you out, and they have taken it because all the initiatives either by government or by any other organization is supposed to be based on this idea of somebody coming and bail you out. And I can even refer you to a book written by Dambisa Moyo when she was talking of dead aid. In fact, the title of the book is Dead Aid, but I think that title is wrong. It is not supposed to be dead aid. It is supposed to be destructive aid or evil aid. This aid is part of those NGOs vakazara kumbareve. They are the same people who give the mentality yekuti zvinhu zvinongouya vanhu vachitambidzwa mahara and vanhu vachingopirwa vakazvigarira ivo vasingaite any other initiative of their own. So unless we start addressing that, and we need to change the mindset of the whole nation, yes, self-reliance and not dependence. Unless we change that. In fact, I'm surprised by the people at Panato. We are now trying to blast those people. And yet all our talk and policies and strategies, they are all dependent on someone else coming and do things for us. So if this is the message we are sending, and then the people respond by saying, then you say it's wrong.
Okay.
It's us, it's just self-contradictory. It's sort of confused.
Okay, all right. Wamoyo, thank you so much for your contribution. Zimbabwe, we're just talking about nyaya yekuti isusu vanhu vari kudiaspora. Really, do we have to send money back home there to extended families or to anyone anenge aita problem to Zimbabwe? We have to send money. If we don't, really, we are devils. Tetoyo Mashoko.
Yeah, boy.
Kuriseko ku Trumpland.
Tanzwa nekutsva ndekutsva ikoko asi tiri nani zviba mene kwenyu ikoko.
Aha, aiwa. Kuno kuti iri nani chaizvo. Thank you so much. Right. Contribution yenyu please.
Pana angashitaura here before ini. I kind of missed what was going on. Oh, okay. Did I end it out? What else? The reason you end up you know what, vanhu vakakangarisa diaspora initially. Vanhu vamwe vaiwana mari nemamwe mameans ema-credit card nezvimwe zvavaiita zvikirividi. Unosvika kumba vosimudza imba ne1 week votenga maprada and so forth. People then there was this misconception yekuti kana uri overseas you should also have access emazimari akawanda kudaro. So I'm going to take fanika ini ndine vana vasukuru ndaane vasukuru and why would I even expect vana vangu zvino if I were in Zimbabwe kuti vanganditumira kana even your 200 yacho chaiyo. Do you know how much child care it costs? Just child care chete kuti muroora aende kubasa. Never mind child care, rent, food, my utility bills. Vamwe fanika vana vechidiki second generation immigrants emaZimbabweans vaane zvikwereti zvekuenda kuuniversity. Anodo kuendawo kuholiday nemukadzi wake nevana vake. So the list just goes on. So the mentality yekuva dependent, you know, Zimbabweans naturally we have never been vanhu vanobubudza kukumbira kutenda kuti emamatipa. There's always been tichikura our generation nana sekuru vedu there was an understanding yekuti ukaona wakububudza it's because pane urombe urimo, and urombe ihwohwo has been normalized neZANU-PF vamwe vaivangataura before. And because of that is really what we should be looking at. And now they are guilting family members kuti tipei mari using guilt, conscience. Almost if you don't send $200 iyoyo uri kumboita ikoko overseas iwowo ndimi uri kunwadoro ndimi uri kuita sei. And what the people forget, maprices edu isusu nemarenti nezvimwe zvinhu, they are cost of living yachona inoenderana nesalary. That's why kana uri pa-increment ye2% annually or increment ye5% depending where you are at, it's according to the lifestyle ye-middle class family. Because the Zimbabweans naturally they are educated, so automatically you find yourself upper middle class somewhere there. So whatever salary that you are going to get, it's actually you know it could only that life just barely. And kuti ukwanise kutumira that $200, you are removing from your pension, you are removing from your emergency fund, you are removing from your medical fund, you are removing from even holiday nje yekuti umbotoriwo vana umboti wotakumboenda kuFlorida Keys kuti umbonakirwa kuti takumboenda paHawaii, you know, that kind of thing. So yes, I personally I believe in moderation, in the sense yekuti I don't want to be guilted, but at the same time ndinoziya kuti ndina amwene vari kuda mari and she's not going to ask for it, but if there is an obligation yamai yekuchengeta amai baba, because ndo zvatiri ndo first responsibility yangu. Vamwe vese extended family vakawana chavanenge vawana, they should be grateful, because handina kusendera na contract nemunhu juya kunoku kuti inini ndakuenda chitengesai musha wese mombe ndakuenda saka kuti ndizokuchengetai. No, I'm doing it out of unhu hwedu kuzvarwa kwatakaita isusu. Naturally we're not individualistic fanika ma Western countries. We are a tribal people, hence we know about looking after each other collectively. Saka when pandine ndatumira $50 bubudzai muwo monditenda kuti maita basa, because
currently another caller. Please leave your name and number. As soon as I get free, I'll call you back.
Oh, sorry. Please go ahead.
Okay.
So because $50 iyoyo kana muchida kunyatsoona uyipi wedependence, one wedu panapa ngaarware zvokuenda kumusha varoora, the first thing chavanotanga kukuudza kuti zvino tavangogezeswa mapensa resold panapa pamaigara nevarungu venyu muchidya ikoko makatadza kana kutenga musha wenyu and so forth, yet they are the very people you were looking after. And then to finish off, I don't remember the research paper, but I remember talking about 3 years back, did you have the same discussion here, and I was citing some paper. For every money that is sent Kumba, each person, it has a ripple effect about around 25. For every remittance in Noitika, 25 people are going to benefit from that. So when ZANU PF should take a few seats back, Neguti, at the end of the day, our hard work, you could drive at Ishidona Musuno, our hard work, yekurara mushift ndichipinduridza chembere, my hard work, yekurara ndichistada wasomwana vakakotsira, they should be thankful. Ndini ndikuva sustain yet at the same time futhi vachioppressa hama dzavo. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Tetuo Mashuko, for that. I don't know, I'm hearing a bit of a noise from somewhere, and I just cannot wake up. Right. It looks as if it's stopped. I think Tetuo Mashuko, I think the moment she stopped talking, it looks like it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gone now. Right. Okay. Thank you so much. I know there's a lot of people who wants to call in and participate. If you want to call in and participate, I'm actually being told now that you can actually use our landline number. Yukunuku UK. Kana muri ku UK munokona kutibata pa 0208-144-3766 0208-144-3766. That's 0208-144-3766. If you want to participate as well, you're welcome. Sekuru, manga muri kuti pataurwa na vamoyo muri kugunun'una chii chama muri kugunun'una?
No, I don't know, but Mr. Moyo ane ka tendency kokuti kana vakutaura chino anonanga kana kuti pepi kana kuti munhu weMDC or somebody weopposite. Some of these things that we discuss has got nothing to do with politics per se or policies, the more political parties. They've got to do with the quality of life that we experience in our lives. Whether you are son of MDC or whatever. So when he then goes on to say, this is takatiza namo yache gogo. But this tribu consideresa sometimes because it's dogono kurunga munyu paronda manje. We are not here, some of us, we are not here because we want it to be here. We are here because we are mitigating a very bad situation at Zimbabwe, thanks to our government. Now, when we then talk about these things, the government, we are now expected to look after people because we are not permanent zombie, no that we might get well. We then get somebody saying, how can I be the one who is causing a situation that I ran away from?
Right. You didn't like that, Sekuru. Okay. Thank you so much. Anyone wants to add anything there?
Maybe musati mapindura vamoyoka ndingango maybe ungazongotibatanidza tese one time. I think I made it very clear kuti if you look at my countries yane ratio ye remittance to GDP are countries that are poor. I alluded to the fact yokuti kune ana Haiti nana Jamaica nde category ine Zimbabwe. We shouldn't be in that category. And it's a sign of a failed economy. And the people, they tend to, most of these services are available to the people, either through their government or because they are in employment, they are able to fend for themselves. And they are can't. This is a fact. And people are actually sort of picking the pieces of their relatives. and making a role and actually taking a role of a government. So I don't see a situation whereby mungati vanhanzi tisi tiri kuzviitisa. For your own information, kunana 1990.
I'm currently busy with another.
There was no Zimbabweans. Aibuda kunze kwenyika in the 1980s, 1990. Vanhu vaitodzoka. Waibuda uchiuya kuchikoro. Before even finishing education, wavanonokerwa nokudzoka kumusha. It was possible to get a job. And we didn't talk about remittance. So you need to understand that, Vamoyo. This is an epitome of a failed government. Your failed government. We are Robert Mugabe, 93 years.
Okay. All right. Vamoyo, you want to answer that?
No, vari kuti inini kana ndichinge ndichitaura handifaniri kuti ningi ndiari wrong and allocate this, and even they are doing exactly the same. So I made a loss now, but what is it that they want, or what is it that they don't want? Is it to say things as they are or not? I didn't say vanhu imimi vanasekuru ndimuri kukonzeresa as individuals, but I'm saying sometimes the policies that we put forward and the message we send as a solution to our people, it's not a message of encouraging them to be on their own. It's a message where we are saying their role is to wait for somebody to come and bail them out. That message is wrong. Your message yekuti unofanira kunge somebody, an employer anoyosco create employment yotanga kushanda then uzozvibatsira kana kuti hurumende. I mean, that mentality is wrong. Iyoyo iri wrong. Kana mtida, someday we can actually look at the benefits here in self-employment versus being employed by some of these companies, especially the dangers of being employed by these multinational companies. And that's why I was actually making reference to Dambisa Moyo's book, Red Dead 8. This dependency syndrome, we need to weed it out of our minds. And I mean, we need to come up with a completely new paradigm in terms of our future. We should forget about that. It doesn't work. It has never worked anywhere, and it's not going to work. I mean, this is my message. This is what I'm saying.
Vamoyo, are you self-employed at the moment?
Yeah.
Are you self-employed?
I said, oh yes. Ndio sana.
Are you self-employed in Zimbabwe?
I'm not in Zimbabwe. I'm not in Zimbabwe. How can I be self-employed in Zimbabwe?
No. Why did you leave Zimbabwe? Then you should have just be self-employed in Zimbabwe. Why did you leave Zimbabwe?
Okay, your question is why did I leave Zimbabwe? I have answered that question before, but maybe I'm not going to go.
This is.
Let me answer.
Ndanyarara kuti upindure. All I'm saying is this is in context. Yokuti vanhu vari kuZimbabwe kwete kuti havadi kustarta majobs. How can you expect munhu ari kupedza chikoro kuti astarte a company asina mari in a country where is the abject poverty? Right?
Yeah, ndimi wapebve muri kuti abject poverty. But in actual fact, the informal sector in Zimbabwe is worth more than $11 billion. I don't know if that is abject poverty.
And how many of the informal sector paying taxes? To help the government keep sort all the bills that it's got out. Nobody's paying income tax, Moyo, in the informal sector.
Why do we have cash inflow issues in Zimbabwe then?
Yes.
If the economy is doing very well.
In fact, when you talk of cash liquidity crunch, liquidity problems,
it's a reflection of economy.
That's actually that actually puts into perspective a submission about the dollar you send will help 25 other people. The money that we are sending to Zimbabwe is kugara. It's going to South Africa, it's going to Botswana. So as soon as it lands, it goes away. Capital flight,
but why is it going there? That's where the reasoning. We are a net importer, Moyo. Importer. Because most of the industries were destroyed by ZANU-PF government. So we are not adding value to anything. We are not importer. This is where the problem is. We have trade.
Yeah, okay.
Right. Kana muripo. What I wanted to say is that kana mchida kuti discuss the issue ye closure yema industries. Kuti mama industries akavharwa rini, vanhu vakadzingwa mabasa rini, and how, nema figures acho, and all that. Let's make it a separate discussion in Goma, because panyaya iripo nhasika, that topic is so big zvokuti haikwani, and we cannot exhaust it. So if you want it, we'll actually talk about it. My industry akavharwa rini, vanhu vakabuda mabasa rini, and then tozoona kuti anga iri policy yani zvichifamba sei, we follow that band iroro kusvika pano.
Okay. Alright, chimbirai makadaro. Pana vamwe tete vangu vari kutry phone. I don't know what's happening. Phone is causing lots of controversy here. We cannot take it for some reason or another. Sodza, our generation is sustaining the people back home, creating dependency. Their children grow up knowing mari inongobva kwamainini ku America etc. Let's go 20 years into the future. Those children will still be expecting money from vana vevazukuru vedu. There will be poverty and crime like we have known before. Vana vedu havazombofi vakachengeta cousin iri ku Zimbabwe. My point is, vari ku Zimbabwe have to encourage and lead by example kuti munhu nemunhu ne life yake. Yes, we can help, but not all the time. That's the information I'm being told by one of our listeners. They're listening as well. But you see, the question is, it looks like now the whole story has been, taken upside down. Someone is writing to me saying that, Sodza, when I saw the video Yalamek, I was not happy with it. Because even Zvatarwa Nawamoyo, I can understand if there is a disabled child that needs help. But why putting your dirty linen for the whole nation to see? Why didn't he go and speak to the individual specific people without venting his anger to social media? Oh, there is another story. Wamoyo hanzi kwanzi ngei akaita izvo zvachisa pa social media. Why do you
the problem there kuti when we do that, we always try to say, don't do this, do it this way, don't do this, do it this way, and yet we are not looking at the whole picture. This child was not born yesterday. Remember, the first time he actually told of his ordeal, it was at the funeral. Yeah, Ambuya, like I said before, Ambuya mwana wake, at her funeral. In public. But he had actually made overtures before to the relatives and everyone else concerned. Could you please help mwana uyu? According to his video, he has been making appeals to them, but no one was responding. Those are social media.
Okay, so you think social media is certainly going to help him in forcing those people to help this disabled child? I'm just it's a question.
In fact, definitely it is not going to help, but it is not only confined to Lamek. This is the same reason why even myself I have always been querying kuti If we have even problems in our country, how does it help to go on top of the mountain and start shouting from there? No, what alternatives do we have? This is exactly the same thing. But now it's because it's someone else doing the same thing. We are now saying Raipa. But when we do it ourselves, it's justified and it's correct. Which is which?
All right. Aiwa, thank you so much, Wamoyo. We'll be back after this 2 minutes break. For Zimbabwe, don't go nowhere. We are here for the next hour.
The wind is a lamp to my feet, and the light to my path. The wind is a lamp to my feet, and the light to my path. The wind is a lamp to my feet, and the light to my path. Jehovah, your word is a lamp to my feet. You give the light to the road I walk on. You give us guidance for daily living. You give us the light in the roads we walk. You give us guidance for daily living. When it gets darker, I depend on you to light my way. When it gets darker, I depend on you. Guide me in my path, step by step. You guide me, step by step. You light my way, step by step. You light my path, step by step. You guide me, Jehovah guide me, step by step. I depend on you, oh Jehovah.
Make the whole world know about your business. Advertise with Zimnet Radio. Email marketing@zimnetradio.com.
You're listening to Zimbabwe's finest radio station, broadcasting worldwide. Zimnet Radio, the people's choice.
We have listened to better music. We have seen better things. We've been to it all. Zimnet Radio, all the way.
Zvinedo zvazvinoita 25 minutes before midnight kuno ku-UK tiri paZimnet Radio. We thank you guys for listening, and we also thank Zimnet Radio for actually keeping the radio flowing. I know that there's people paying money for the radio to be streaming every day. We thank you for that. And that's what we do. Now we're talking about...
Can I say something there before you go?
Yes.
What the subject? I think it is important that people like Lamek, I think they're only looking at themselves and not looking at the reality. If the country, generally, everybody in Zimbabwe is getting poorer. Zimbabwe is now the poorest country in the world, in Africa, according to a recent report. That means he has got to realize the reality that even those people he has been begging from, they don't have anything either. If he can't see that the whole nation is getting poorer and poorer and expects people should be able to help him, who can help him? People are poor. Many people, if the unemployment is 90%, that means they are looking at 9 out of 10 of his own relatives are unemployed. So how can they help him? And I think this is where again this lack of focus, that in this particular case you expect somebody must help me, when you can't even see the bigger picture and realize they themselves are poor, they cannot help themselves, let alone help anybody else. And I think the other thing is, if this Lamek has been, from what Moyo is telling us, has been very active on the internet and on social media, I would want to know what he has ever said about some of the corruption that is affecting the whole country. When President Mugabe, more than a year ago, revealed that $15 billion was looted, what did that Lamek say? And you find it was water off the duck's back. Then you say to yourself, well, that is what is causing the problem. And if you can't see the bigger picture, why the whole country is poor, why everybody is poor, why they can't help you, why is it that a nation that has got so much wealth and so much potential cannot look after disabled people, and in fact spending billions of dollars on the able-bodied and the filthy rich few? How many millions of dollars was the country sending Bona, for instance, to university? That is what we've got to look at. And if you only look at the narrow picture and you don't want to approach the big fish, and you pick on the poor people in the village, it doesn't matter. He can complain all he likes. The truth of the matter is they cannot help him. And in this particular case, that is the reality. His poverty is self-inflicted in that respect, because he doesn't want to see the reality. He only wants, I want help. Who is going to help you if those people are unemployed?
But anenge ari kuti ndaona ari kufamba nebenzi and all that.
Can I say something, please?
Yes, sir, you can.
Right. Why is that child not looked after? It's a disabled child. It's got whatever the disability it's got. Why is that? Why is the government not able to provide for that child?
Sally, I know you've got more questions.
Child.
Sally, I know you've got more questions to come, but this is, I've got 2 messages from people now saying that if there was a functioning government in Zimbabwe, disabled people would have an allowance to help them. But anyway, continue.
Yes. And the people that are caring for them, okay, are given an allowance as well. I mean, it's where has the money gone for the poor? Okay.
When did it come in the first place?
What, Moyo? I didn't understand what you said.
From the taxes that we pay.
No. Hang on. Moyo was asking you, Sally, that you're saying that where is the money for the poor? Moyo is saying Was there any money for the poor in the first place?
Yes, there were.
Oh, okay.
There were social programs and social grants that went to people that was suffering, Moyo. Unless, of course, I'm just talking off the top of my head and I'm just an idiot. I mean, come on, Moyo. Get real for a change.
No, you
real in reality.
Right,
No, I don't want you to be smart because it's just going to be waffle. It's not going to solve anything and make an excuse for why that child is not being taken care of by a social grant, okay, by the government. Because there's no money. Because most of the people are employed in the informal settlement, okay, in the informal sector, which means there's no tax being paid to the government. And the people that have got the money to pay the tax aren't doing it.
What happened to the money, Yema Diamonds? That's what it should have been used for. $15 billion.
One more, you want to respond to what Sally is saying there? It looks like you're not agreeing with her.
Of course, the social grant. In fact, there was no social grant, to the best of my knowledge. The only grant that was there was the amount which was called Zimdef. Imari yekuzonobatwa nana moyo manje manje. Kwete inini, but Jonathan. Yainzi Zimdef. Saka Zimdef, I can explain what type of money and where was it coming from and what was its purpose.
Okay, Vamoyo. Vamoyo, before we go any further, I know it's Tingainde in Sekus. So basically in Zimbabwe, we don't have facility to look after our disabled. Is that what we are talking about here?
Definitely I can say that, because even on the budget, I don't think Makambo is going to find any allocation yet disabled.
Okay, no, that's fine. So that answers it. That answers it. So, Sally, the answer is that there was never money for disabled people in Zimbabwe because it's not even on the budget. Maybe Wapeve would want to help on that one.
I think first and foremost, the government of Zimbabwe, there were people who were actually receiving some assistance, those who were disabled. I'm talking about in the 1980s, in the 1990s. Of course, the money was coming through donor agents, but again, through the government itself. So yes, at one point the government had the capacity to do it. The problem at the moment is that the same government cannot even pay its own civil servants. And therefore, at the moment we are talking about 85% of the budget goes to salaries, government salaries. And there is also a deficit of 1.1 billion of the budget of 4 billion. So at the moment, the government itself does not have the capacity, through incompetence, through the destruction of the economic machinery that actually should have been paying through taxes. There's no taxes coming from. I think Amoyo alluded to the fact here, informal sector. Informal sector, zvainorewa Amoyo, kuzviriritira, hapana kuriritira hurumende. There is no tax coming from informal sector. Anywhere in the world, you don't see that. So this is where the problem is. So the government, Botswana, a small country, is able to cater for all those what we are talking about. They get paid. To South Africa, all the people, they get paid. Every month, they get paid. And you go to even Mozambique, it's I'm not sure about Zambia, but within the region itself, that are doing well, they've got the capacity to do it, and Zimbabwe can't.
Okay, Batai Makadaro.
Do you want a response?
Yes, please. Very quickly, one more, please.
Yeah, Ninge. at one time, yes, Zimbabwe had the capacity. But remember, most of its capacity was in the form of subsidies. Remember, that's why it was able to subsidize all the services and goods that were provided in Zimbabwe. The government was subsidizing. And its greatest subsidy went to education and training. Training yakazoyekezenge cater for Zimdia. And therefore the government was now able to subsidize education. But subsidies are not sustainable in a developing country. The same reason why South Africa is going into trouble now, and I can actually tell you it's not long before those stipends in South Africa disappear. And Botswana Botswana does not have that facility. That's not true.
I'm not talking about subsidies.
The same as Mozambique. That facility.
No.
For a developing country,
we are not talking
about developing country. They cannot afford to have such facilities. South Africa still has it, but it's not long before that one disappears. So one time Zimbabwe had the capacity, but it used that money in education and training. Okay. That's why
Botswana has got service. Botswana, I can assure you, I've got all the figures. It got social service.
I don't trust them.
Botswana is not classified as a least developed country.
By who? Some of these classifications they are completely out of.
If you can't even pay your own civil servants, then how can you then justify that you are not a poor country? Opportunity. If you not create jobs for your own people, right? And Zimbabwe is only Ramoyo and ZANU-PF which refuse to be called poor. Those countries, for your information, 33 countries of the 48 countries which are the poorest on earth are in Africa. And their benefits, if you are classified, is because of your per capita, GDP per capita. And their benefits in terms of...
What are the benefits? What are they? Tell us.
Right. The benefits to that are actually the preferential treatment, whereby you can access without tariff trade exports to Western world or to the developed.
Who is accessing that now?
Sorry?
Who is accessing it now?
Well, I can assure you, in Southern Africa, there are only two countries that are not classified as least developed country, which is South Africa and Botswana. Of course, those who will not access the benefit. Any other country in Southern Africa, in SADC, other than Zimbabwe, is accessing.
No, Chimbomire.
Zimbabwe and Ghana, because Zimbabwe and Ghana opted out to be classified as poor countries.
Banzai makadaro. Mkoma Elliot, Banzai makadaro. Mkoma Tawanda.
DJ Sodza makadi.
Koma kuyatapedza chirongwa kwakanaka here.
Sorry, akomana zvinhu zvacho zvinonetsa zviri kuitika munyika muno misi.
What's happening here?
Zvobva zvanetsa ndine urombo. Ndiregerere.
Okay. Makateerera here?
Kana uromboteerera mufunge zvenyu DJ, ndanditori pakati pebasa chaipo.
Kutosvikawo.
Kutosvika ikoko.
Manje makutotidzosera kumasere. Anyway, ndoda kuti mungokomende only a little bit. Makaona video yakaiswa naRamek apa achiti vanhu ngavabatsire disabled child, what not, and he mentioned a few people in London and all that. Makagara tatata kuLondon ikoko, amutumiri mwana mari, ari kutambudzika kuno chirema and what not. And we were just thinking kuti, right, munhu kana wapinda mudiaspora, does that guarantee capital yekuti utumire kumba, and you should send that money home kukaitika nhamo kune mwana aita chirema kana kuti zvaita any problem yaitika there, you have to send money. Failure to do that, you're a devil. Do you think that's fair?
Unfortunately, and ndakuiona zvangu video yacho, asi the truth of the matter is munhu aurase unhu hwako nekuti waenda mudiaspora. That is what I know. If you are working in Harare, you still remember your people in Wedza. You still go back there, and packet get sugar, nechi, and I think the same applies to the people in the diaspora. No matter what we are going through, I know it's not always rosy. People think that when they come to the diaspora, to another country, things are better, but that's not the truth. So the lead that we get, definitely, just like a person in Highfield, we still have to go back to Wedza, send back to Wedza whatever we can, so that those families, those people can continue to survive. It doesn't necessarily mean that if you are in the diaspora, of course, you're getting a lot or you're getting more, which is what the people in Zimbabwe, the mentality that they have, that someone is in America, someone is in the UK, they have more. Then they end up demanding more from us. But on the same token, I also urge the people in the diaspora not to forget where they come from. And I'm telling you this from experience, because I have people who are back home, and even in our situation where we have a struggle back home, I still urge people in the diaspora to do everything that they can to send back home, in order to help the struggle. I spend, part of my salary, a quarter of my salary goes to the struggle in Zimbabwe. I can reveal that. And I know a lot of other people who are sacrificing their hard-earned money, taking it back to Zimbabwe to help the struggle. Not even their families, but the struggle itself. So I would suppose those who are supporting the struggle are still supporting their families back home. So we're still duty bound, even though we're in the diaspora, even though things might not be as good as they should be, to help the people back home.
All right. Mukoma Tawanda, would you sacrifice paying for your mortgage here and send money home to help people?
My people, my parents, my relatives, those who are close to me, if I'm a breadwinner, are part of me. And I will have to, they have to fit within my meager budget. I cannot run away from the fact that I have to take care of my old grandmother or my aunt in Wedza because I'm in the diaspora. I have to do it. So they have to be part of my budget. You have to sacrifice. I sincerely believe you have to do that.
Right, okay. Thank you so much, Vatsukura, for that. It's 7 minutes before midnight here, and I'm actually. Oh yeah, Tetono Mazulu. I wanted to ask Tetono Mazulu one thing here, but anyhow, she's gone now. This story of Sodza is actually not good for us. This Germany person now trying to tell us that Utisachi Sodza. Seguru Sodza murubikirwa ere baby amunambuya.
Every day.
Anzinouraya kai.
Hapana chisingaurayi muzukuru. Zvinobva nokuti wachita in moderation. Kana ukatarira zvese zvinonzi zvinouraya ka. Ukazozvitarira pane vamwe vanhu vanozviita vasingambofi. Kwete vamwe vasingazviiti vanongofa. So chinouraya chacho ndiMwari wako nemidzimu yako. As far as I'm concerned, this research yekuti Sodza rinouraya ingori one of the business public relations inongoitwa nemacompanies kuti vagenerate mari. Hapana chavanomboti achiurayi. You look at cigarettes, they say dzinouraya. You look at drink, unonzi zvinouraya. Wotarira makonikoros machipisi zvinonzi zvinouraya. Sadza manje rakuuraya futi. Muriwo unouraya. So tori nyama inouraya.
Kwanzi red meat inouraya futi kai.
Right, Mugabe said that Sodza, nobody must eat Sodza anymore because it's for the pigs and the cows.
Okay.
Uyo mukadzi wacho she's a crazy woman. Agarika zvokuti achazikwa. akakura achifudza mombe achidya sadza everyday nemutuvi nemutuvi yemukagagara kuti nemunonga muto unoziva inonzi nonga muto muzukuru sani it is salt that is put in water. It is stirred to dilute it. Then that's it. You pick your bottle of salsa and you use that salt water, alkaline water. And you eat that salsa. That's what Grace grew up eating. So now she's eating.
That is water with noodles.
It was river water, or in some instances, you just boil the river, then that's it. In some instances, it was a salsa with beer and the peanut butter. So you just take the beer, put peanut butter, a little bit of salt, and you're eating the salsa and you survive. The business of saying salsa kills is nonsense. Salsa doesn't kill, it keeps you alive. Eat it.
Okay, all right. Vamoyo, should people continue to eat sadza kanzanzi? You know, it's killing people.
On a serious note, sadza is not good for you, Nkoma, at all. Pasi chigare tichakura isisu ndaiva prefect waMugabe tiri kuchikoro ndiki kwandiri. So kareko kwaive nevanhu vainzi hurudza vaya vaizikanwa nekugona kurima vaya. Vanhu ava vakanga vasingarime chibage. Aiwa, kwairimwa mapfunde nezviyo nemhunga, the ones we normally call the small grains. Saka chibage chakatounzwa kwatiri. It was never part of our own basket of crops. Chakaunzwa kwatiri. But the purpose yechibage chaiyo is for fattening. Vaya vanopfuya mombe, vanopfuya nguruve nehuku.
Vamoyo mirandi bunza vamoyo mukati aiwa pane chinhu chidiki chandinoda kubvunza, handisida kuti step by flow yenyu.
Okay.
Mungatiudzawo here kuti sadza rakaunzwa kwatiri rini?
Around 1900, 1905 thereabout.
Yakeriona imi mamatozvahwa before that, nai?
Ini ndakanda tochikomana chaizvo ndakutotarisawo zimhandara.
Okay.
Saka ninge
no.
Saka ninge chibage chakaunzwa kwatiri nevanhu vakanga vakuita large scale cattle ranching. The purpose yakanga iri fattening mombe, and then it ended up being extended to us humans as well. This is the same reason for which chibage chacho anti munochiti koni kuno hamuwane hupfu mumashops kunze kwekuenda kumashops anywhere muSouth African nemanigerian shops ndokune tuhupfu tunenge turikwa here and there, even they don't use it. Nemaka kuti it's not good for human consumption, it's for fattening chete. So unless you are saying people are supposed to be there for fattening, yes, but it's not for human consumption.
Moyo, what is polenta in the USA made from?
Sorry?
What is polenta, which is a staple Italian thing, okay? What is that made from?
I thought polenta is a Zimbabwean brand.
No. Google it and find out what it is, okay?
Uh-huh.
It is a maize meal that the Italians do, that you find in America as well, that the Americans do
polenta.
as well.
It's called polenta.
Yeah, but do you find it in large scale in supermarkets, in restaurants?
No,
yes.
In America?
No, you find polenta. You find polenta in restaurants, yes, Italian restaurants.
Okay. All right, guys. Okay.
Line,
Batai makadaro wamoyo. So wamoyo Sodza kills. Sekuru don't believe in that.
it's true. Yes.
No, I know. Sekuru don't believe in that. Vapepe, yes or no? Does it kill?
Haikazi. Kwa hiyo amwe vari kuti sadza kills. Akatokura achidya sadza akafa.
Mkomata wanda does Sodza kills?
Too much of everything. Sodza kills, but we all know, despite what Mr. Moyo is saying, we all know that Sodza chibage is our staple food. That's what we grow up eating. Inini kuno chaiko izvozvi ndakarotasana nesadza so ndinodya sadza every day. Kana richouraya ndofunga richarotera kuuraya chero neniwo. Asi ngatarisei vanhu vese vari kumaruva vari kuZimbabwe vanodya sadza 2 times a day.
Yes.
Sometimes 3 times a day.
Yes.
Sakadai vakapinda kufa kare.
Yes, morning, afternoon and evening. Now,
handisana mbona munhu akafa nesadza.
Tete Mashoko, do you eat sadza there?
Asi pese kwandafamba chandotanga kutsvaga njosvika munyika isadza.
Saka why are you still alive?
Musi wandakaziva kuti maMexican vanoda chibage nehameno mbuya wangu vainditira chimwe chibage chakadzurwa so choiswa nyama pakati so chinonzi tamales. Haibo ndiri shasha nayo, nyangwe dokta akandiudza kuti borderline diabetes ndikadii. Sadza chibataura mune shuwa zvamuri kutaura. Makamboenda kumusha mukaona munhu akanyatsobata sadza chairo kuriti mba.
Yeah, but now
batai wamoyo. Mukoma Wilbert.
Amufe makagona kuumba munoisa musuva.
Yes, mukoma Wilbert muri kudya here sadza kuManchester?
Yeah, I get my maize meal from my Pakistan shops, Indian shops. You get it imported from South Africa, Zimbabwe, and many other African countries.
So how come you are still alive?
You can get there.
How come you are still alive? I said, how come you are still alive then?
I think to be quite honest, actually, in a country where we every year we have to import maize because people are facing starvation. At the present moment, Moyo is the least of their problems. People are starving, Moyo. They are not going to worry about
not this year. This year they are not starving.
All right.
No,
okay.
But of the last 17 years, 10 out of the 17 years we have to import food for some of our people. Otherwise, they face starvation.
All right. Batai Makadaro. Zvisinei muri yeZimbabwe as a pledge kwamuri takataura kuti we start on time and we finish on time because for me time is money. It's 4 minutes after midnight. Kunoku United Kingdom. It has been a pleasure having you here on the show. Those who managed to call in and participate, those who were listening, thank you so much. May God bless you all. Please have a fabulous weekend and we will see you again next week same time. Goodbye. And don't say makaterera kambo kubva kuna Toki Vibes. Hello.
solid record.
G. Can't go round. Tell it. Get it. Chidorwaza moyowa. Chidorwane moyowa. Anabira moyowa. Chidorwaza moyowa. Niripo. Chiri nani usipo. Uripo. Makumima ansilipo ngataura nema si zvakawanda ndonzangu hana toko machora zvangadainda wana ishopman pamukana zvekudainda wana manobira mwewa tinorwaza moyowa ndiripo tiri nani usipo uripo tivavana chokonyiwa mamonyato.
Halo, ndiri paZimnet radio here.
Ndianiko wangu?
Show yapera.
Show yapera, ndianiko wangu?
Onji Trish.
Trish. Show yapera watete mulize.
Ndiri right. Akisaka vanhu vatoenda kavatobva pasi pafoni.
Vanhu vatorwa marata vamwe vakutokotsira izvozvo.
Aizve. Kutoyakachinja ma-hours.
Ko inochimbotanga nguva iyo.
Inotanga, alright, saka inotanga nguva yeGMT.
Inguva ikoko izvozvo.
Okay, it's 10 minutes past 6 p.m.
10 minutes past?
6.
Right. Show yangu inotanga na 3. But discussion inotanga na 4 p.m. Your time there. Yopera na 6 p.m.
Okay. Kwa imi muri ma-hours enyanochinja rini?
Pari zvinezvi akuzotondochinja muna September, October then.
Okay, and you'll be moving like an hour. Is it forward?
We'll be moving an hour back.
An hour back. Okay, so then ndopanenge makupedzana 7.
Then ndopanenda kupedzana 7 your time.
Okay. Alright, DJ Ribon, ndichafona next week.
Alright, mufone next week. Muone zuva rakanaka.
Alright.
Tatenda zva.
Bye-bye.
God bless.
God bless.
Chindorwaza moyo wangu, chindorwane moyo wangu, anobira moyo wangu, chindorwaza moyo wangu, niripo, chiri nani usipo, uripo, makumima ansilipo ngataura nema si zvakawanda ndonzangu hana toko machora zvangadainda wana ishopman pamukana zvekudainda